In February this year, criminals stole $15,000 worth of Grace's savings. But even worse, they stole her identity.Watch. The video above, the latest developments in massive hack of Optus customer data. Watch the latest news on Channel 7 or stream for free on 7plus. In the aftermath of the theft, the Western Australian mum made the heart-wrenching decision to get a new legal name, meaning she lost the name she had used to build a reputation in her industry. And she says one of the worst parts of the situation was dealing with telecommunications company Optus. Optus' record on data security has been in the spotlight this week after almost 10 million customers' information was stolen in a data breach, with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Wednesday declaring the company should be made to pay for victims' new personal documents. The company has said it will offer the most affected customers the chance to take up a one-year subscription to credit monitoring service Equifax Protect at no cost. It also has struck agreements with several state governments to cover the costs to replace the driver's licenses of affected customers, also sending emails or SMS messages to customers whose details were compromised and apologizing for the concern it has caused. Although Grace, not her real name, was not impacted by last week's hack, she describes the company's response to her loss in February as fueled by ambivalence, arrogance and a lack of care for the individual. Now in the wake of the Optus hack, she's speaking out to urge companies to take identity theft more seriously, and to raise awareness about the nightmare of having your personal details stolen. Aftermath: the culprits of Grace's identity theft have not been caught and she does not know how they were able to steal her personal information, but she knows they withdrew her money from 10 ATMs in New South Wales. In the aftermath of the theft, Grace engaged with companies and agencies which had her personal information, as well as police. Medicare and police and other support agencies were wonderful, she told 7 News. Com.au. Even though they're overstretched and have a 15-deep queue of people waiting, they went through every step and are really supportive. Her preference was to deal with the organizations face-to-face, but she found that was impossible with Optus. Optus, in store, was like, no, nothing to do with us. There was no option to do anything in store, she said. She was given a number to call an Optus phone helpline, but was on hold for a very, very long time. Then when she spoke to an Optus representative, she believes requests were treated as being too difficult to achieve. Those requests simply included a replacement modem from Optus in case hers was compromised by the cyber criminals, and the cancellation of a $5 per month for cybersecurity protection for her devices because she felt like it wasn't protecting her. She was told by the representative her requests were beyond my authority and needed to be passed on inside the company. They didn't deal with it. I keep thinking that perhaps if Optus took reported identity theft and fraud more seriously, this latest data breach could have been averted, she said. There's a combination of ambivalence, arrogance, a lack of care for the individual. I think it's quite easy to shift the blame elsewhere, to the victim, or say it's out of my scope. In a further setback, Grace says Optus has marked her case as resolved on her account records. 7news.com.au has contacted Optus for comment about Grace's case. The company has not responded by the deadline provided. The pain of identity theft months after the attack, Grace is still dealing with the trauma of her identity loss and the heart-wrenching decision to get a new legal name to stop the ongoing nightmare. Getting a new name is significant when you have worked incredibly hard to get a PhD and a reputation in your industry, all while balancing being a mom, she said. It is significant for your parents dealing with the fact that the name they gave their child has been given away. Australians lose more than $2 billion a year as a result of identity crime, the Australian Institute of Criminology estimates, and there are indications as many as 1 in 4 people fall victim throughout their lives. Grace has called on the Australian corporate sector, including telcos and banks, to take the issue more seriously. We have a degree of ambivalence because it's always framed as cyber criminals in another country, she said. These are things happening here, and there are measures within Australia that can be put in place to protect Australians. What I am so relieved about is not handing over my new identity to Optus. I couldn't imagine going through this trauma again.